Coming in, court-appointed Special Assistant Commissioner's report on the Gyanvapi premises survey has been submitted before the Varanasi court. That is the big update that has come. Vishal Singh has submitted what appears to be perhaps some very crucial evidence would be added. Remember, this is apart from the report which has already been videographed, videotaped. There are all sorts of different evidences that have been collected. Specifically, it was the Wazukhana area where after the water was emptied out, there was a well that the Hindu side is claiming has a shivling. And of course, the Muslim side claims it is a fountain that is used, has been used as that for the Wazukhana for the longest time. So of course, with this survey coming in, the court-appointed Special Assistant Commissioner's report on Gyanvapi premises survey has been now submitted. For now, it appears to be the final report of survey in the Varanasi court. Could there be perhaps further surveys done in this area? But this is the big news that is there. Remember, there are videos that have emerged in the past few days that about a few weeks and months old as well. Samarth Srivastav is now tracking all the latest on that. Samarth, so final report we can say from the court surveyor Vishal Singh that has been submitted, but any details that are out, or is it going to be unlike the earlier reports, secret envelope, not much details, and will only the court be deciding on that?
So obviously the second and final report has been submitted by Special Advocate Commissioner Vishal Singh at the local court of Varanasi. As you know, earlier last evening, Ajay Mishra submitted the first part of the report that was to be submitted by him, and now Vishal Singh, the much awaited by him, has been submitted at the local court. Now it's going to be worth seeing what is in his report, though the report has not been yet accessed, but it's going to be worth seeing what will be in it. In the first report, what we a lot of symbols of Hindu symbols were found around the mosque, and now all eyes are on the report because court will first access the report submitted by Vishal Singh and then may pronounce some order or could reserve the order for some further date. Yes.
So I do want to know what happens from here on, because remember, it's a big day in the court as well, Samarth.
A big day because not just about report, it has got 2-3 petitions or obviously, but eyes are on the report, like what will be inside that particular report submitted by Vishal Singh, because when Vishal Singh was monitoring the things, the shivling as claimed by Hindu side was found. So it's going to be worth seeing what he has written to that particular thing, a fountain as claimed by the Muslim side or a shivling as claimed by the Hindu side.
Have you got any details yet? How big is this report? How many pages? Any mention here? Because I understand all of the details may be secret right now, but what about, you know, how many areas have been covered in the report?
It's just confirmed that it's not of just 2 pages as submitted by Ajay Mishra. It is long because it took a lot of time for Vishal Singh to complete it, as his associate told India TV that Vishal Singh said did not sleep all night for completing this particular report. So we can expect this report to be more than around 8 to 9 pages. But what is inside is going to be very crucial because it was a time and Vishal Singh was the one who cleared the water from the pond to look after that particular shivling as claimed by the Hindu side. So it's going to be worth seeing what he has written to that particular thing found inside the pond as claimed by Muslim side, the fountain or the shivling.
So also what happens here on, Samarth? Should we say that the survey is now done and over with? Do you think there will be demands for more survey of the lower floors? Has the demand already been made, or this is it? With regard to the Gyanvapi premises dispute case, this is going to be the survey that has been done. Just stay on with me for a short while, Samarth, because on this big breaking news, we're already getting reactions. Let's listen in.
हम लोग यही चाहते हैं कि जो वजू खाने है, जहाँ पे वजू किया जाता है वजू न किया जाए, वहाँ पे मलबा है वो मलबा हटाया जाए। नंदी जी जो सामने हैं, अब यहाँ देखिए मंदिर है ये, यहाँ भी नंदी जी सामने हैं, शिव जी सामने। प्रत्येक मंदिर में शिव जी के सामने नंदी जी रहते हैं, आपने हर जगह देखा होगा। तो हम लोग यही चाहते हैं कि नंदी जी अपने शिव जी का दर्शन कर सके, जो इतने दिनों से प्रतीक्षा कर रहे थे। वो दीवार जो है वहाँ से बैरिकेटिंग का वो हटाया जाए, वहाँ पे मलबे पड़े वो हटाया जाए। वहाँ पे पूरा हम लोग को विश्वास है कि वहाँ पे जब अगर वहाँ से मलबा हटाया जाएगा, वहाँ से दीवार हटाई जाएगी, तो नीचे और भी सामान और भी सत्य मिलेंगे, जो सत्य छुपा हो, जो बहुत से सत्य तो उभर के सामने आ ही रहे। हम लोग को पूरा विश्वास है कि जब वहाँ पे देखा जाएगा, गड्ढा खोदा किया जाएगा, तो वहाँ से और भी बहुत से साक्ष्य मिलेंगे। पूरा विश्वास है कि जो शिवलिंग मिले हैं वहाँ पे अर्धा बना हुआ है, क्योंकि हम लोग उसे माँ पार्वती का स्वरूप मानते हैं, माँ गौरा का स्वरूप मानते हैं, वो अर्धा भी जरूर मिलेगा और भी बहुत से साक्ष्य मिलेंगे।
क्या लगता है अभी तक कहाँ पे सर्वे हुआ है, किन किन जगहों का सर्वे हुआ, कौन सी जगह अभी छूटी हैं सर्वे?
देखिए, सर्वे तो माननीय न्यायालय ने आदेश दिया था, उस अनुसार जो है कि पक्ष विपक्ष दोनों लोग की सहमति से अच्छे से हुआ है और अच्छे से हुआ है। पूरा न्यायालय को सौंप दिया गया। अब न्यायालय जो भी न्याय करेगा, वो पूरा विश्वास है कि सत्य की जीत होगी। और मेन जो जहाँ पे शिवजी मिले हैं, वहाँ पे हम लोग यही चाहते हैं कि वहाँ वजू न किया जाए। वहाँ पे मैंने सुना मछलियाँ भी हैं, तो मछलियाँ रहे, मुझे उससे कोई आपत्ति नहीं, जीव है वो, तो इसलिए उससे कोई आपत्ति नहीं, लेकिन वहाँ पे वजू जो किया जाता है वो ना हो, इसका हम लोग को घोर, क्योंकि ये तकलीफ देह है, हम लोगों के लिए बहुत तकलीफ देह है कि जहाँ पे हमारे शिव जी है, जो इतने सालों से छुपा के रखा गया था, जिसे मैं तो समझती हूँ कि शायद हमारे 12 ज्योतिर्लिंगों में एक है वो, और इतने दिनों से उनको छुपा के, उनको फव्वारा का, झूठा फव्वारा का एक ड्रामा दिखा के जो है कि रखा गया था। तो मैं यही चाहती हूँ कि वहाँ से जो है कि वो बैरिकेटिंग हटे और वहाँ पे जो मलबा वगैरह है वो सब हटे और दीवार वहाँ पे वो देखा जाए, हटा के देखा जाए, तो वहाँ पे और भी साथी।
ये लोग जो लोग फाउंटेन की बात कर रहे हैं मुस्लिम पक्ष के, उनके इस बयान को आप किस तरह देखती हैं, जो लगातार मान नहीं है चीज़ें?
मेरी समझ भी नहीं आ रहा है, कहीं भी आपने ऐसा फाउंटेन देखा है? कहीं भी ऐसा फाउंटेन है जहाँ पे पानी का कोई जाने का, कोई पानी निकलने का कोई स्रोत ना हो, पानी जाने का कोई स्रोत ना हो? कहीं भी ऐसा किसी भी मस्जिद में ऐसा देखा है किसी ने? तो ये तो महज उन लोग का एक जिद ही है। जिस तरह हमारे मंदिर को उन्होंने जो है कि हम लोग को उसे मस्जिद बोलते हैं, वो लोग मस्जिद बोलते हैं, वो उसे को इस तरह जिस तरह बोल रहे हैं, तो इसी तरह उसको भी बोल रहे हैं। क्या कहा जा सकता है?
मानती हैं कि सत्य की जीत होगी?
सत्य की जीत होगी, सत्य में जयते। सत्य हमेशा जीता है, और भले ही उसे 100 परतों में छुपा दिया जाए, लेकिन सत्य की एक न एक दिन जीत होके रहती है और इस पर भी जीत होके रहेगी।
आज आप लोग कितने बजे कोर्ट पहुंच रहे हैं?
जी, हम लोग 12 बजे तक वहाँ पहुँच जाएंगे। चलो।
So that is the petitioner who is now stating and claiming that it is not a fountain and it is, according to her, a shivling. And importantly, remember why the petitioners are also important here. These women are the ones who first took the matter to the court, asking they need to be allowed to pray at the temple premises, that is now there in the mosque area as well, according to them. And they want proper areas or proper permissions, and not just one day of the week. They want to do and offer regular prayers in what they believe is the temple area at the Gyanvapi. So these are the reactions coming in, but the big news, of course, is that the report has been submitted. Samar Srivastav is joining me on that. Samar, this is about eventually 13th, 14th, 15th May. Then this report that was finally closed by 16th of May. Even one court-appointed commissioner was removed. But this could prove to be massive, because this is the first time after, remember, objections earlier, protests, the court-appointed commissioners not allowed, strict security had to be deployed, local people had to be taken into confidence to not disturb law and order and allow the process to follow. Eventually, all of that survey has been done and finally submitted today. So we'll try and get as many reactions. I will, in fact, have our viewers listen in again to what the petitioner just about a short while ago had said. Smita Sahu making it very clear that they do want the Wazu Khana area, which has been presently sealed by the court order. However, remember, the namaz prayers are being offered even now. The court has said namaz prayers cannot be hindered, but the Wazu Khana, since their claims have come, have been sealed from at least till the court will take further decision on that. Samar, so this is definitely a big day, because after a lot of initial disruptions, objections, security had to be tightened, court commissioners finally managed to, and perhaps this is the first time be able to empty out the water, see what is that well about, and then finally videotape it, videograph the area and submit it to the court today.
The entire thing has been submitted in the form of report. As we know, Vishal Singh, the Special Advocate Commissioner, took 2 days time for the submission because he sought some time. It was 17th of it was to be submitted, but Vishal Singh sought some more time, 2 days time, and then it was decided that he will submit the report on 19th of May. That is today, and now after 10 a.m. he has submitted the entire report. He took a lot of time and has compiled each and everything, be it from the debris found or some Hindu symbols found, or what we say the shivling as claimed by the Hindu side. That are all being in the report. So it's going to be worth seeing what he has written regarding that shivling thing. Because Muslim side kept on claiming that it's a fountain, but Hindu side kept on claiming it's a shivling, while historians even claim that there seems to be a cemented area over the shivling that is to be made few years back to give it a shape like a fountain. So it's going to be a worth thing.
I do have a query here. How different was this survey of 13th, 14th, 15th May different from 6th to 7th May survey? That was the report that is submitted by Ajay Mishra. Because is it the same area that was surveyed? Was it a different area? Because in that there are claims that idols were already seen and noticed in and around the Gyanvapi premises. So were these different locations that were surveyed?
See, it's going to be massively different because when Ajay Kumar Mishra was investigating or surveying the things were not already, and he was unable to reach to those places where more symbols were found. He was limited to some particular area. He was unable to reach towards the pond because on day 2, some men also gathered around the mosque area when the survey work stopped, and also some slogans were raised outside the Godoliya crossing where atmosphere went wrong. But when Vishal Singh, the Special Advocate Commissioner, entered inside, things were different. He got the curfew situation outside. Apart from that, he got forces, he got a proper team. Around 3 Advocate Commissioners were inside when Vishal Singh led the team. So, and also, he was the one, as per Sohanlal R, the first petition in 1996 case, Vishal Singh was the one who ordered the removal of water from inside the pond. And just after that, the shivling was found as claimed by the Hindu side. So there were also preparations that underground cameras will be used, but Vishal Singh inside claimed that we should remove the water to get the things right. So Muslim side opposed that for a bit, but after this discussion, it concluded, and that's what something very important I feel that will be mentioned in the report, like when it comes to the pond area, because this is one specific area that has also been sealed by the district.
Stay on with me, Samart, because remember, this survey that report has been submitted did not come easily. It came after initial protests, objections, fears of law and order, and that police had to be deployed because initially the advocates could not even go into the premises to record. There were protests against them. Eventually, they managed to after 2 to 3 days. And now, one of the court commissioners, Ajay Pratap, who was also part of preparing this final report, speaks now, reacting. Take a look.
आपने रिपोर्ट सबमिट कर दिया?
हाँ, रिपोर्ट सबमिट कर दिया गया है।
कहाँ जज के चैम्बर में आपने?
कोर्ट में
आगे उन्होंने क्या कहा?
अब कुछ नहीं, उसके बाद तो अपना पुकार कराए हैं, पक्ष के लोग उपस्थित रहेंगे।
कितने पेज की थी सर?
करीब 10-15 पेज।
Let's go back now to my colleague Samarth Srivastav. Samarth, it wouldn't have been easy for the court commissioners as well, not only to conduct the survey as was appointed, considering, of course, there were religious sentiments involved on both sides. And do you think it will be important and pertinent, as they cannot, of course, speak much, they cannot reveal much about the survey report details, but it will have to have solid evidence and videotaping specifications and not depend in any way on the religious sentiments of the either side for exactly what needs to be mentioned in the report is what was found and nothing beyond it?
You can get an idea what Advocate Commissioner just said, that the report is around 10 to 15 pages long. So it's very evident, like the report submitted earlier was of just 2 pages. So it has not got much content. But when Vishal Singh was inside, a lot of things happened, including that pond area thing. So that's why the report is 10 to 15 pages long, and you can assume what all will be in the 10 to 15 pages long report, like what symbols found, whether the shivling was there, whether the fountain was there, whatever is there. It all will be mentioned inside the report of Vishal.
Details right now, or unlike the previous survey details, this one is being kept very secretive, and one of the reasons after Ajay Mishra's removal that any reference from this report is just not being revealed at all.
Yes, obviously, because it's a point of secrecy and kind of contempt of court if somebody reveals that. This was something said by Vishal Singh earlier in an interview. But now, as the report was leaked of Ajay Mishra, the eyes are on the Vishal Singh's report because it is 10 to 15 pages long. Then you can assume a lot of content into it. You can assume a lot of things into it, be it around the Sringar Gauri area, what's inside there, what's below that area, what videographers told us that there is a lot of symbols of Lord Vishnu, of Lord Shiva. So these were the things. Even some people related to the survey claim that there is namaz taking place. There are also some symbols of Hindus in the form of, it seems to be historic symbols. So these are something which Vishal Singh would have interpreted in the report. But we have to wait for the court's order and the report to come in the light, because it's going to be very crucial, because entire survey will rely on this particular 10 to 15 pages report as claimed by another Advocate Commissioner Ajay Pratap Singh. So we have to wait for that report and just see what is inside, especially around the pond area, what Hindu society is claiming to be a shivling, while Muslims...
Stay on with me, Samarth, because another court commissioner, Vishal Singh, has also reacted after the report has been submitted in a secret envelope to the court. Let's listen in to what Vishal Singh has to say.
वीडियो चिप है, गाड़ी का जो चिप है वो हमने फाइल कर दिया 3 बॉक्स में, अंदर सील है उस पर सील कवर लगा हुआ है और माननीय न्यायालय के लिए दाखिल हो गया और रिजर्व है।
कब तक आने का है उम्मीद? इस पे कोर्ट क्या प्रोसेस रहेगा?
चल रही है, जो माननीय न्यायालय आदेश करेगा उसको देखेंगे।
So let's go back now to Samarth Srivastav on that, Samarth, because at this point, of course, they are only confirming that the report has been submitted. Some quick questions here. Exactly how many pages of the report are you picking up compared to the May 6th and 7th survey? Because in May 6th and 7th, there were some very direct details. Sheshnag, that idol has been found. There are on the walls clear illustrations and inscriptions that appear to be saying that it was a temple. And there are, in fact, idols that have also been found in this premises. What are you picking up from this survey report in the sense about, will it be about idols? Will it be about the pond or the Wazukhana area? Will there be specific mentions that could also find a way?
See, 100% there will be a mention of some Wazukhana and pond area, because it's the prime thing when Vishal Singh entered, and the last day of survey was around that particular area only. And if you talk about the number of pages, then we saw again Vishal's report was of 2 pages, while Vishal Singh's report is somewhere around 10 to 15 pages. So we may expect a lot of content inside it. It could be about the debris, about the Tehkhana that was found during the survey. It could also be about the symbols. It could also be about the tomb that on day 1 they revealed that there were some tombs which were in the shape of temple but were erected in the shape of mosque. So these were the things, including the tomb, including the walls, including the pond area, including that particular shivling or fountain. So these will be the major chunks inside the report, and also it can also be something about the district administration support or not, because Ajay Mishra in his report clearly said that he was not getting support from the district administration and folks. So now it's going to be also worth seeing what Vishal Singh's take would be on that, and what Vishal Singh clearly said that the videotapes have also been provided to the local court, because the recording of itself was more than 8 hours long, and if you talk about the photographs clicked was somewhere around 900 to 1,000. So compiling the report was obviously a big task and a tough task for Vishal Singh, and now it's going to be worth seeing how court reacts to all that.
So I do have a question. It's because what is very interesting is with the idol of Sringar Gauri being claimed to have been found, the Sheshnag, which is of course a reference to Lord Vishnu, referring to a Lord Vishnu temple there. All of this is very direct mentions that have been revealed and have now been clearly mentioned in the May 6th and 7th survey earlier by now removed Commissioner Ajay Mishra. In this one, what is intriguing me right now, and Samarth, is why I'm asking you this again, because they go to the Wazukhana, they ask the water to be emptied out, they find a well where it appears to be, as the Hindu side is claiming, a shivling. But beyond that, it primarily could just be a wall. inside the mosque premises, unlike the Sheshnag or the idols that are being claimed to be found in the May 6th survey. So do you think in that Wazukhana area, if they've managed to bring out any of those details, that could actually become solid evidence as well?
Well, obviously, as I clearly said, that it's all about the pond area and about that substance or material found that Hindu side is claiming to be a shivling, Muslim side claiming to be a fountain, because it is going to be worth seeing, because Vishal Singh also, what we got to know from the sources, he used some kind of a thing to get the height, the exact height. The shivling's height was claimed by the Hindu side is somewhere around 12 feet and 8 inches. So it's going to be worth seeing, is it that and what height or what inches will be written in the report submitted by that particular Vishal Singh, Special Advocate Commissioner. Because so far it was just about the Hindu side, Muslim side, or the source-based things. And now it will be about the report, what is going to come.
So, it will be important also, Samarth, isn't it, that when this report that has been mentioned, because it was the Wazukhana or the pond area where the Muslim devotees wash their hands and feet before they go to offer prayers, the water gets emptied out and then surfaces there a well in which, of course, it appears, as Hindu side is claiming, a shivling, and that it was covered all this while. The Muslim side says there are cuts on top of it, which clearly means it was just a fountain. In that survey report, whether the researchers, whether these surveyors mention it as a shivling, mention it as a structure, mention it as a fountain, could actually make the biggest difference, because in May 6th survey, it clearly says Sheshnag inscription found. It clearly says a Shringar Gauri idol has been found.
Yes, exactly. It's going to be working, and that's a major part, whether the report will call it a shivling or a fountain or something else, because when we spoke to the historians, they were saying, after seeing the image of that particular thing, that it seems a cemented portion has been topped over that particular shivling, what the Hindu side is claiming, and it has been broken into edges to give it a shape of a Shah. If this is the thing, then it could be a shivling as claimed by the Hindu side, and if it's not, then it could be a fountain as claimed by the Muslim side, because we have to wait for the report for the final thing, because whatever will be in the report, we'll take it as a truth until and unless Muslim side reaches out to High Court or Supreme Court. But what local courts will pronounce will be based on this particular report only.
Arthur, do stay on, because I want again our viewers to listen in to what Advocate Commissioner Vishal Singh had said. A very short reaction, but right after confirming that a report has finally been submitted, about 15 pages of report, to the court.
आपने रिपोर्ट सबमिट कर दिया?
हाँ, रिपोर्ट सबमिट कर दिया गया है।
कहाँ जज के चैम्बर में आपने?
कोर्ट में
आगे उन्होंने क्या कहा?
अब कुछ नहीं, उसके बाद तो अपना पुकार कराए हैं, पक्ष के लोग उपस्थित रहेंगे।
कितने पेज की थी सर?
करीब 10-15 पेज।
वीडियो चिप है, गाड़ी का जो चिप है वो हम लोगों ने फाइल कर दिया 3 बॉक्स में, अंदर सील है उस पर सील कवर लगा हुआ है, माननीय न्यायालय के लिए दाखिल हो गया और रिजर्व हो गया।
कब तक आने का है उम्मीद? इस पे कोर्ट क्या प्रोसेस रहेगा?
चल रही है, जो माननीय न्यायालय आदेश करेगा उसको देखा।
Right, so at least finally a survey report of 10 to 15 pages have been submitted to the court. Why this could be very important, remember, because this comes after initial protests. But what happens in the apex court in Delhi, the top court? Supreme Court, big news coming in, refuses to adjourn the Gyanvapi hearing. The Hindu side seeking, remember, the adjournment of the hearing, and has now said that Advocate H.S. Jain, who has to argue on the matter, was in hospital. Senior Advocate Huzaifa Ahmadi opposes the delay in the hearing, says the ramifications of this hearing are larger. Similar issues are cropping up across the country. Pleas to seal other mosques also that are being consistently filed, and Supreme Court judges are discussing the issue. But big news coming in, no delay. No adjournment coming in. The Supreme Court refusing to adjourn the Gyanvapi hearing, which means the hearing will have to go on. Hindu side initially was seeking to adjourn the matter. We'll try and get reactions as well. So what exactly happened? Because the Hindu side went in as was expected, arguing that Advocate H.S. Jain, who has to argue on the matter, is in hospital. But senior advocate Huzaifa Ahmadi has opposed the delay, saying ramifications are larger. There are issues consistently cropping up across the country, and any delay could perhaps have bigger ramifications. Because what are these other issues? The plea to seal other mosques, whether it is from Gujarat to Madhya Pradesh and other states as well, including in Karnataka. These issues are cropping up, and therefore Supreme Court judges are now discussing the matter. Anisha Mathur is now joining me from the court. Anisha, so at least that's clear that the Supreme Court has decided not to adjourn the matter. But why specifically has Supreme Court, do you think, taken this specific observation? Over to you.
Well, Pooja, the hearing is going on right now as we speak. The Supreme Court is considering whether they will adjourn this matter or not. In fact, the court has, and I will just break this information just coming in. The Supreme Court has now said that we will hear this matter, could hear this matter tomorrow as long as the Varanasi court does not hear the matter today at all. In fact, it is recorded, the Supreme Court is considering the objection that has been raised by Mr. Ahmadi, where he has said that if there is any hearing in the Varanasi court today, then the rights of the Muslim side will be affected. In fact, there will be a larger ramification of this entire issue, because there are similar petitions being filed in other courts as well, seeking a sealing of the mosque premises. Now, Vishnu Jain from the Hindu side has assured the court that they will not press any proceedings before the Varanasi court today. So it is likely that the Supreme Court will hear the matter. Could hear the matter tomorrow. We are waiting for the Supreme Court to finish pronouncing its verdict. As I speak to you, the Supreme Court is passing its order, Pooja.
All right. So, of course, Anisha Mathur, my colleague, is tracking every little update coming in from the top court while the hearing is still on. The matter is not being adjourned. I want you to listen in to Vishnu Jain, the Hindu side lawyer, who's been very defiant but has also said we need some time, a little more time over this matter. Listen into what Vishnu Jain has said.
The Wazu Khana is concerned, we will take some time, and I hope that the Muslim side is also seeking time to file their objections to our application. So let us see how the proceedings goes ahead. But today before the Supreme Court, we are seeking some time to file some documents and place something additional on the court. That the application which we have filed, that the Muslim side will also take some time to file their objections to our application. Mr. Abhay Yadav had mentioned before the court that they need some time to file their objections. So after all these formalities and document work are complete, the matter will proceed.
Nalini Sharma is now joining me from the newsroom. Nalini, this is very significant. So absolutely there's no adjournment on this matter. Now that it has reached the court, the Supreme Court wants to go all out, hear the matter. What does it mean really? Because at this point, with religious sentiments being played out on both sides on such an issue, how is the court going to hear this matter here on?
Well, Pooja, we have an important update coming in from the Supreme Court, where the Supreme Court's agreed to adjourn the matter till tomorrow 3 p.m. And tomorrow 3 p.m. is when they're going to take up the Gyanvapi Mosque hearing. And the Hindu side as well as the state of UP are expected to place for their arguments before the bench headed by Justice D.Y. Chandrachud tomorrow. Very important update that's coming in, Pooja, is that for today, the proceedings before the Varanasi court have been stayed by the Supreme Court, which means that the Varanasi court cannot go ahead and consider this report that has been filed by the former commissioner along with the present commission that has conducted this entire survey, because there were certain apprehensions that were raised by the Muslim sides, stating that until Supreme Court hears this matter, the proceedings before the Varanasi court should not proceed. Because if you remember, Pooja, it was the proceedings before the Varanasi court that were in challenge before the Supreme Court, and that is precisely why they've come forth and expressed apprehensions about the adjournment. There was
this is important what you're telling us. What you're telling us, do help us explain this as well. So in the Supreme Court, the matter was being heard. It has now been adjourned for today. Supreme Court will hear the matter again tomorrow. Yeah. But it has stayed the proceedings of the Varanasi court, where the survey report has been submitted. What does that stay mean about the report that has been submitted? Because the report had to be submitted in the Varanasi court.
Well, yes, Pooja, the report can go ahead and be submitted before the